Good morning, all of you. This is a very first session on algorithmic thinking with Python laboratory in the lab. So, in this particular class, we will be learning the practical aspects of Python programming. Okay. So first let us see what I plan to do in this class. In this class I'll give you an introduction to Python programming. What is programming? What is Python programming? Why do we need to program? And a basic introduction of advantages of Python programming when compared with the other programming languages. Next is a practical step where we will be learning how to install or what are the steps to install Python in your computers. Then we'll write our first Python program. I'll introduce to you what is print statement and then the first data type strings. We'll have just a basic look at what are strings. Okay. In case of any clarification or anything, you can stop me then and there and keep asking me what are the things we can do. Okay. So first of all, some advantages. What is Python program? What is programming in general? What do you think is programming? Programming means you are giving a set of instructions to the computer to perform some particular set of tasks. It could be a very complex task, it could be a very simple task and so on. We are planning to customize our computer to perform our needs. What are the things you want to perform? We will be giving a set of instructions. You will be telling computers, do this, do that, do these things like this, do these things like that, and what we get in the output is what we desire to obtain. Our programming means, in very simple terms, you are giving a set of instructions to this computer and you wanted it to perform in this and this particular fashion. Okay. So what is Python programming? Python programming Python is developed under OSI approved open source license. Open source license means you don't need to pay anything. You know what is open source? For most of the softwares, whatever we use, we need to pay license fees. OSL stands for open source. Open source is something where you don't need to pay any fees. You can use it commercially or however you like, you can use. And made freely usable and distributable for even for commercial use. So Python program is open source in the sense that Python program it is free to use. Usable, distributable, commercial purpose, everything. So it is administered by Python Software Foundation. Python is an interpreted language. The first class when I was talking to you about problem solving strategies, I told you that a high level programming language is there. There is a low level programming language or an assembly language which is directly understood by the system that consists of zeros and ones and so many of complexities are there. And I told you that we have somebody in between to translate this language to the other language, right? Like whenever you see people North India, leaders coming from North India to Kerala and they wanted to speak, they have somebody who translates their language into Malayalam or into English or whatever is understood by us. The same way, we have an interpreter or there is a set of system administered programs which is going to convert the normal language or the programming language into something that is going to be understood by the computers. That is called as an interpreter or a compiler. Interpreter works line by line. Compiler works on a structured fashion. So Python is an interpreted language. It means that Python converts each line one by one. Okay, one after the other. And all these things you can make notes either right now itself or later on when I'll just share all these notes in my YouTube channel where you can just make a note of all these things as we go on. If you want to do a program in Python, you will need a Python interpreter. You won't be able to run any code without that. Fortunately, we are very lucky that we have Python for free. It is not all programming languages are not free. Python is available free for use, and Python is interactive. Interactive means Python is as simple as what, when you do a calculator, what all the things you do the same way, you need to give instructions, that's all. It is a very simple language, easily understood. You don't need to work hard to do so many other structuring or the grammar or the syntax of Python programming is quite simple and interactive. It is general purpose object oriented. Object oriented means we have two types of programming languages: object oriented programming languages and structured programming languages. In object oriented programming language, we have so many advantages, like we can use some there are so many advantages. Object oriented programming is a separate in detail subject. Let me not delve into that because that will take a lot of time, which is beyond your syllabus also. There are so many other things to do. So I'll be teaching you what are the advantages of object oriented programming when and where we have the relative examples. So you can study these things in practice. Okay. In a structured programming language, you have certain structure and the program follows the structure. In object oriented programming language, we consider only the objects and we work based on the objects. The name itself tells you what is object oriented programming. Everything in Python is an object. That's why we call it as object oriented programming. All your program circles around an object. What is that? We'll be learning it as we go on in our practical classes. Open source, of course, we have already discussed. Portable. Portable means it can be used in all platforms. Whatever I am using a Windows laptop, you are using Ubuntu, still we will be working in the same fashion. It is portable in the sense it can be used anywhere, easily. Works on multiple platforms, highly used for engineering applications, useful for artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on. For all kinds of advanced programming requirements, we depend heavily on Python programming. And without having a strong knowledge base in Python programming, it is very difficult to survive in future. Okay. And Python supports a variety of libraries and frameworks. As I told you, it is all related to objects, and we have so much libraries in Python. Whichever library we require, we can import that library and use it. Okay, so it's very fast. It uses only the space whichever it is required. The memory requirements are limited, and so on. So these are certain advantages of Python. It is easy to learn, it is easy to teach, it is easy to use for writing new softwares, very easily understood. I told you it is highly interactive and easy to obtain, install and deploy. Basically, very easy to learn, easy to teach, easy to code, easy to understand and easy to obtain, because when we are doing complex problems, we need the ease of access with every of these modules. We'll be doing one by one like that. Okay. Next is a very important concept called as integrated development environment. We are going to start our practical sessions right now. We have two IDEs on one side. On the left side I have given Google Colabs, and the other side, another one in the left side is Spider. We have another set of IDEs like IDLE, Jupyter Notebook, Visual Studio Code, PyCharm, etc. So why I have divided into two is that Collapse and Spider will be the one we'll be using in this lab. I will be teaching you how to use IDLE, how to use Jupyter Notebook, Visual Studio Code and all. As we go on, wherever you require, it is all the same. IDE means Integrated Development Environment, where we are going to write our program. Okay. So let me begin with our first. Okay, let me set up. Let me tell you how to. First of all, I will be writing the first Python program using Google Colabs. Okay, I want you to do this program along with me as I am doing. Okay, so that you can understand what is Google Colabs. So this is the first Python program which I am going to implement. For that, please follow along with me. You can do along with me in Google Colab so that you can learn how to write programs. Now what we will be doing is that we will be opening our Google accounts. I am using my Google account and I am connecting to internet. Those who are not connected, please check whether you have internet connections, because you need to use internet connections for using Google Colabs. First of all, you can log into your accounts. So listen here all of you. First let me tell you how to check whether Python is installed in your computer or not. I told you that for doing all Python programs you need to know, you need to install a Python interpreter. So what we can do is that you can open this command prompt. Okay, in this if you type Python version, you will get the version of Python installed. All of you please follow my steps. Those who are using Ubuntu can open the terminal and check whether Python is installed in your computer. Use terminal, open command prompt and type Python -version. So you will get to know which version of Python is installed in your computer. This step can be used to confirm whether Python is installed in your computer or not. In Ubuntu terminal also, you can type the same command, Python -version. If Python is not installed in your computer, what you can do is that you can go to python.org. in python.org. Yes. So let us not work with Google Colabs today. Next class we'll work with Google Colabs. If you have not installed Python in your computers, what you can do is that you can go to python.org, download the latest version and install that in your computer. Okay. Python.org. Yes, 3.12 might be the latest version. You can download and start installing. Once you have installed, you will get that Python version, Python --version. You will get the latest, which is the version that is available with you.